Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure to the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson. And I'm going to start it off in Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 12, verses 3 to 4. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the keepers of the house are speaking of these economists, these people in finance, Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera. And the reason they're trembling is because they're seeing the dire economic situation going on out here with these different countries, especially the United States of America, which, with the cost of living crisis, inflation, what have you, even the average person can see that things aren't looking good for the economy. And also, when you go into the etymology of the word economy, it literally means housekeeping. But as it also says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. And grinders goes into workers. And why would the grinders be ceasing? Because they are few. People getting laid off their jobs, businesses shutting down. Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Businesses shutting down. And again, laying off workers. When the sound of the grinding or working is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And I opened up the video with these verses to preface this video from a Homestead Journeys YouTube channel titled 15,000 Stores Closing. The doors to the houses in the streets shall be shut up. Massive layoffs for Macy's, Kohl's, CVS, and Walgreens skyrocket. And the sound of the grinding being low and the grinders ceasing because they are few. This video is just going to go into, the continuing deteriorating economic situation out here for America. And it's not going to get any better because the elites want to foreclose on America and bring in their new system, that great RESET, that NWO, that fourth industrial revolution, where everyone will be using CBDCs or digital currencies. What just happened? Trump passed the Genius Act to make that closer to a reality. And everybody having a micro C-hip implant in them, which is the MARK of the beast in Revelation 13, verses 16 to 18. But ultimately, it's the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai to fulfill biblical prophecy. But before I play this video, this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
So a lot of stores are closing this year, and it's looking more and more like it did back before 2008.
Macy's is closing over 150 stores in the U.S., and I went to the downtown Brooklyn location, and when I say my millennial heart is so sad, the store was empty, completely empty. There was hardly anything left. I was alive when there was no technology, where there was no online shopping, there was no social media, there was no dating apps, there was no iPhones. I've been around a very long time, and I'm only 36. So to go into a store and to see a store that you've been shopping at since you were little looking like this is scary. It felt eerie. It felt like I was in a movie during the apocalypse looking for food and shelter. I am so lost for words right now. The sadness is just so sad because every store is shutting down right now. I'm from the era where we shopped at the mall, and you had to get all your stuff from the mall. You would meet up with your friends at the food court, and this is non-existent anymore. So many stores are shutting down, and it's gonna get worse, and I don't know if I like it. Macy's owns some of the largest and biggest department stores in America. This right here is the end of an era. Apparently there are stores that's still gonna be open, but this is a big culture shock and a sad reality because I believe that This is the beginning of the new normal.
I just came to Kohl's and I did not realize that they're closing and the store is completely empty. What the hell is up with that? And this is all they have left. Wow, I'm shocked.
So the Walgreens CEO came out and said that they're shocked that retail sales went down after they locked up all of their products in cages and then understaffed all of their stores so that there's really no one to unlock any of the products in cages. And they are shocked that retail sales went down. And I gotta tell you, in today's current employment market, everyone's being laid off across the board. Thousands of employees every day without notice, without cause, are being laid off. And I have not heard anything about the Walgreens executives being laid off for their gross incompetence. Not only are they, essentially, they don't care about their customers or their employees, but now it doesn't even seem like they care about stock, like their stockholders. And so I haven't heard anything about mass layoffs over there.
Because again, it's all by design. Just like these politicians, these heads at these different corporations, they all know what the game plan is, and they take their marching orders, from the elites. We're moving towards, more automation, AI, you name it. Where, they ultimately want you to be in 15-minute cities, having only 3 sets of clothes for the entire year, and eating the bugs and being happy about it and owning nothing as well.
CVS, which has closed 9,000 stores in 3 years, is about to go bankrupt. This is CVS Health, the world's largest healthcare company, which owns retail drugstore chains CVS Pharmacy, CVS Caremark, and Health Insurance.
And speaking of, those pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens, I think it was CVS, but I read an article a couple of months ago saying they're even moving towards an automated pharmacist that's going to have people's prescriptions ready for them.
Aetna, and many other brands. In 2023, the company ranked 65th on the Forbes Global 2000. It's hard to believe that CVS, the 4th in the Fortune Global 500, is going bankrupt. This shows how severe the economic situation will be.
America's second largest pharmacy chain announced big cutbacks today. Walgreens will close 1,200 stores in the next 3 years, and that's about 14% of its stores. The company, which has lost more than $8.5 billion this fiscal year, says about 1 in 4 Walgreens stores is unprofitable.
Walgreens is crashing out right now, and it's absolutely hilarious. We have this article, then we have this one. In this one, they are shocked that the fact that they have things locked up in the store that you cannot get to, that hurts sales. I have an idea for them, multi-million-dollar idea that's going to save them money. I want credit for it once they start making money again. How about if you lock stuff up in stores, number one, hire more than one person to work in that store so that when you need help from somebody unlocking it, they can unlock it instead of you standing in front of the shelf like a fucking asshole for like 20 minutes before somebody notices that you're there, or you having to go find somebody in the store and them not being able to help you because they're doing something else in the store that's vital to the store being open. And now this bullshit. The first time I walked into a Walgreens and saw these stupid fucking screens, like I really needed water bottles and Gatorade to be digital. It was the last time that
That's a key word, digital. And they're setting up those screens to those doors to eventually be locked and only be opened if you have the C-hip in you and you scan it to open it. All by design.
walked into a Walgreens. If something isn't broke, don't fix it. You paid $200 million to be assholes and have digital screens showing us what was behind the screen when glass does that, the same thing.
Salakia, damn.
Now that is a bundle.
Let me guess, you're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea.
You could have just hired more employees. You could have hired more employees. You could have hired armed security. You didn't even need to lock shit up. You could have just had armed security standing there. Feel that deodorant and you're getting put down. I'm sorry, I can't anymore.
I really don't think people understand what is coming over the next 18 months, especially if you're working in corporate America. If that's you, you might want to save this video for later, and please share it with a friend who's working in corporate. We are seeing what they are calling the Great Restructuring, and essentially it is consolidation of people and humans within an organization as they blend with technology. It basically means that companies are looking to get rid of irrelevant job titles, job roles. They're looking to get rid of these massive teams that don't get anything accomplished for 3 or 4
The grinders cease because they are few.
years. I've spoken to so many people who have been laid off over the last 2 to 3 years, and I've noticed something. The bigger the company they are at, the less impact they actually have, which makes their resume really, really hard to work. I will get people who share with me projects they've worked on where they've been one of 20 people. If you're in a role like that, it's really hard to define the value that you're bringing to the company you're working at. And it also means you are primed to be consolidated. You see, companies are making decisions of how they blend humans with AI and technology. They are trying to get as much as they can done with the least amount of people possible. Microsoft just announced mass layoffs, and we are going to continue to see companies do this during the Great Restructuring. So if you're working for a big corporation,
Great
you've been
Restructuring, Great Reset.
CVS, Walgreens, Macy's, and dozens more are bracing for 15,000 store closures this year amid brutal retail culls. So this is a lot of stores, you guys. Only 7,300 brick and mortar stores were closed in the whole of last year, and 5,800 stores closed in the first half of this year alone. So store closures are definitely on track to far surpass the number of stores that shut down last year. So this article goes on to say iconic department store Macy's and beloved retailer Kohl's have been among the household names to announce mass closures this year. Pharmacies have also been thrown into the fray, with leading chains such as Walgreens and CVS closing dozens of underperforming locations. Bankrupt Rite Aid has also closed more than 1,000 locations across the country as it goes through the bankruptcy process. I don't even know the last time that I saw a Rite Aid. I mean, those stores have been closing down for a long time, but Macy's and Kohl's closing down, what does that tell you? People are not spending the money like they used to, even on credit. When these stores start to close, it's going to be a trickle-down effect. People are going to lose their jobs. They're going to not be able to pay their bills, not be able to pay their mortgage. They're going to default on their mortgage payments. They're going to lose their homes, and it's just going to go down from there. So this is really looking like back in 2007. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Back then, I was working for the wealth.
That's it with that video, but hey, a repeat of 2008, a repeat of 2019 to 2021, which, you know, you saw the horrific economic ramifications that had, are going to be eclipsed by the next major thing that's going to come to really shake things up. But as we can see, many different businesses are closing down shops, laying off workers, and it's only going to intensify. But now I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 19. I'm going to start at verse 5. And, you know, it's speaking of, waters and rivers drying up, which, you know, those things are actually happening in Egypt or America as it's going into in Isaiah chapter 19. But this can also go into the economic situation, the waters, or businesses, work drying up. So the fishermen, those that make nets, deal with stuff like that, these workers, hey, they aren't making a living anymore and they're suffering. So keep that in mind. Isaiah 19 verse 5, and the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. Businesses shutting down, laying off workers, the economic situation deteriorating, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers, and those that are workers, again the grinders, also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle in the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave networks shall be confounded. Business owners stressing because they got to shut down, workers stressing because they're getting laid off, etc., etc. Verse 10, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, and all that make sluices and ponds for fish. But now I'm going to jump down to verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, spiritual Egypt, America, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So this deteriorating economic situation is going to hit those at the top in more lucrative jobs, the head, all the way down to your average everyday worker at the tail. And, as we saw in that video, with Macy's and, CVS's and them closing down stores, they're laying off average everyday workers. And then that one guy who was talking about AI and automation coming, at these big corporations towards the top, they're going to be laying off, different analytics and data teams, from white collar to blue collar. But now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh, which all you got to do is go onto social media and see, video after video of Americans just stressing about the current cost of living crisis. I'm having to work 2 to 3 jobs just to have, $20 to make it to my next payday. People saying, I might be going homeless soon. How am I going to feed my kids? People living in storage units or hotels, etc., etc. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So instead of going out to the bar, if people still have the money to do that, having a drink, anything like that, people aren't doing it to celebrate a promotion or good times. They're doing it to drown out the sorrow of the situation they're living in. Hey, the mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. And also you can look it up. Drug and alcohol usage, as well as self-deletions of Americans, has been rising over the years as well. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down, and Babylon in the Hebrew means confusion by mixing, and another name for America in the scriptures is Babylon the Great. So the city of confusion, the city of America, is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in the day when the doors to the houses in the streets are closed, and the grinding is low, the working is low. And as we just saw from that video, many different businesses shutting up shop, closing down stores, which is going to lead to layoffs, which is going to lead to, as the homestead journey was going into, people defaulting, on their mortgages, not being able to pay their bills or their health needs, etc., etc. Everything working in a vicious circle. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets, which goes into understanding. People are looking for answers, trying to find anything to give them the news they want to hear. But the only true news you're going to find is from the prophets, the men of the Lord, chiefly of GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers coming in the spirit of GMS, going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this. And the only news we're bringing you is bad news concerning America and this current system of things. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All the joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwat were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.